That will not happen again. So, to do an even more abridged version of what I was trying to say in the previous destroyed stream that only a couple of people will ever be able to say that they saw, due to it being filled with many tactical errors. I was approached by a female. She indicated her interest. We spoke very recurringly for a day, and then we spoke here and there for a couple of days. The idea of something that wasn't platonic was mentioned, and that was what seemingly was where we were heading. Then all of a sudden, she abruptly stopped responding, and it's online, Fillmore. It's obviously online. We're talking about the uh, lack of response. Okay, so the main crux of this is that there is a live stream that is actually concurrent with this one, that I happened to be watching earlier, and you'll never guess who I saw. How are you doing, Envoy? Now, I want everyone who's in here to just to keep one thing in mind. If you don't want someone to know that you are ignoring them, make sure not to like the same things that they like on YouTube, and make sure not to leave comments on things that you know they're also going to see. And look, one might say, "Oh, this is some kind of obsession type behavior." No, because I went over there expecting to see something else and saw her comment by chance, um, and I'm kind of, there's a couple of different things to take away from this. This should be the final nail in the coffin for what I've seen as many comments that keep claiming that I'm just this negative figure that is destroying it for himself. I went into this optimistic. I spoke to her. Um, Again, this was not someone whom it was mistakenly thought on my part. Oh, they're interested in me. They said it, and then if you call them a liar, then you're attacked or insulted. Yeah, reluctant dragon. I'm not old enough for that. Okay, let me see what Envoy said. Okay, Envoy. The recap is that there was a female who approached me. Me and her traded messages for a couple of days. Spoke about having a non-platonic relationship. She seemed open to that. She abruptly stopped responding. I just caught her hanging out in somebody else's live stream. All right, and Wayne Fillmore says no, females just want the top 2% that other females want tatted up, famous, and with the record. I'm not. And again, this is part of the problem I have with people who come over here and they make these assessments. They go, oh, well, the reason this is happening is because of X, Y, and Z. Well, X, Y, and Z, X is usually, oh, well, you just thought someone was interested when they weren't. Well, this person said they were. Y is, oh, you've acted in some behavior that displays yourself as not having a separate life from her own. You're too much attention is being brought upon this person. No, the person and I didn't speak for quite some time. And then my favorite, which is Z, is, oh, just keep trying, just keep trying. Yeah, TFL. We're not talking about forcing someone to like us. It goes along with uh, this reversal that we have here. Let me see what Harvey's saying. Basically, the girl is just a flop. A lot of females don't know what they want, which is the hard truth. Nothing to do with you. Yeah, well, the problem is if you think that you actually will have, because I've seen this several times in my comments, people who will go in here and say, well, you're just accusing everyone else of having a problem, and you've never thought to look at yourself and you need to work on yourself. And they'll go and keep making the same generic statements. And Reluctant Dragon is over there getting bombarded with responses and various inquiries. Like there's just this roundhouse discussion here. I wish I got these numbers on the net neutrality videos. If that were the case, I'd be very much satisfied with how things were going. But unfortunately, we don't live in that type of reality. Instead, we have people that will come to your platform and say, hey, I want to do something with you. You go, all right, I'm all ears. And we're going to do this. And then that person just fades away. They turn into Invisible Woman from Fantastic Four. Trying to see what. Okay, I'm getting a little confused by these responses. Yeah, Justice is claiming that girls just like attention. That's all. Again, it's very hard. I kind of, it was a while back that I made a response to a message I saw from this female who deleted her account on another site where she said that no no good men are left or all good men are gone or something to that effect. And it bothered me because it was one of those generic blanket type statements. But in this context, I definitely see where she was coming from. How does a person keep getting up and trying to make their case for why something should happen? And I guess it's even scarier to hear it on her end because we're talking about a person who's seemingly been on several dates or has had a multitude of males she's been romantically involved with, um, that is still saying yes, this just doesn't work out. But what I think is funny is that the person who doesn't get who doesn't who even if he gets approached still doesn't actually have a relationship with the female will be told that they need to just improve on everything, have a complete overall of who they are, while the female that does not uh, have any type of rejections but rejects all of the guys that she's with as not being part of this small population of good guys that's disappeared is told to just keep looking, and these men just aren't good enough for you, and you're 100% perfect, and it's so annoying. It's just you have to sit here and accept as a male that you are trash in the eyes of these internet romance gurus, while all of the females can just act any kind of way they want. I had one who's literally it has spent uh, an entire year sitting on her computer and watching YouTube videos, and that person is told they're all right as they are. Who to their own admission said, "Oh, I'm just this weight gainer and all these different," and they're told this is good, this is how you need to be. So I'm astonished. Okay, well, Harvey says, well, everyone is over analyzing the situation. You told them one thing and then changed their mind last minute. It's a trait in women who are emotionally immature. Envoy says confident men who are successful and have things going in their lives don't get friend zoned as much. Turner says good men stay in the friend zone until the woman becomes less physically attracted. Then they suddenly want the very nice guy that they ignored in their prime. People are still. You guys are just so many. I can't even. Corbin says so many women are stuck up and ignore most men because they think they are too good for most men. You know, I guess that's part of. This is why I really just prefer the reality where there is no romantic interest in anybody on my part, and I just only seek platonic dialogues because you're not looking for how attractive someone is or what traits they bring to the table. It's just if you can relate on a subject, if there's that person thinks they can learn something from you or vice versa, just have at it. You don't just start talking about, oh well, you don't meet this criteria and you're not this, so I can't do this with you, and you're not that, so this automatically disqualifies you. Okay, Justice says it happens to me all the time. They say they are interested in me, that I'm handsome. They even send me photos, but later everything just suddenly stops and falls out. Uh, Envoy says, I have a feeling you'll meet someone by initially having a platonic relationship that evolves to a more intimate one. I tried to do that with several of these, and the problem I have is that when you start those platonic ones up and you just keep speaking and interacting on the hopes of either that person or, I don't know, five, six, seven others one day reciprocating your romances, you end up having these months, possibly years long talks with these various females, and you still don't accomplish anything with it. When I had one of them who told me that You could talk to me for 2 years. Don't not, expect nothing guaranteed, which I never stated to her, but she was very forthcoming in, hey, still don't even think this will happen. Okay, Fillmore says it's a game. You just have to be hip to it. When you don't take it seriously, they do. Well, I don't know what type of behavior this is. I'm literally sitting here watching this person sit in another stream and keep having these little uh, comments about what's going on over there. No, I did not use any of those sites. Okay, TFL. I've learned to have low expectations of them, so I'm not hurt no more. Yeah, and they'll call you negative and say this is the reason why things won't happen. Yeah, Turner, I don't understand why we have to play these games. Harvey says, really, it's just things happen at oddest times. You should never stop looking at the time. You have no idea this female will come into play. She will. There is no game or anything. It's just girls will know what they want. Wow. Not to use someone else. Okay, Fillmore says, just take a breather. You need to have to you until you can. Oh, how ironic. You know what kind of Pandora's box you open with that comment. You need to have multiple females you talk to until you can narrow down the search. I swear. Fillmore, what number, just out of curiosity, what number should I speak to just on average at all times? I really want to know. I mean, you guys are, that's, I guess that's part of the problem with people not being privy to what you experience. I don't know if Tamari is answering that question or if they're just throwing out a random number. And how am I going to speak and be platonically involved with 12 females? I'm not even platonically involved with 12 people. I mean, I am astonished. And it's more so. Here's another one. So, what I find amazing about this entire scenario is that people um, will sit here and spin this narrative that you must have certain traits, that you must. Okay, here we go. I'm gonna have to just break off my whole monologue. Fillmore says it's a game, uh, and when they get under your skin, you lose. So am I supposed to just sit here and just pretend I'm not bothered by having multiple people tell me, "Oh, just appeal them this way, this way, this way." Then you have one that comes and says, "Hey, you appeal to me," and then go, "Oh, here's my number, here's my Skype, here's my whatever," and then you go and talk to her, and then she ignored that. That's supposed to be okay. And I'm supposed to go, "Well, just another day in the hood." You guys do not understand. It seems not all of you. The wide variety of an emotional spectrum it is to try speaking with several or one or however many females with the hope that every single one you meet can either potentially turn out to be some romantic interest and or lead to meeting that romantic interest. So for example, um, if I were to say meet, I don't know, some, you know, woman that I think is attractive, and I find out later on that she is with someone, okay, well then that ends that prospect. But what if she has some friend that isn't? Those kind of things are what I'm referring to. And then you sit here, you talk to her, you talk to her friend, you talk to a friend of that one, you talk to the friend of that one, and you still don't get it. And I'm really supposed to sit here according to the logic of Mr. Fillmore and just pretend it doesn't bother me. They keep giving you the runaround and zigzagging and mixed signals, and I'm supposed to not be bothered by that. These are supposed to be the okay things I just accept and bend over backwards for because that's how males just have to do it. I don't get it. I really don't. I don't understand where I need to just pretend because this is something that Fillmore doesn't seem to get. Before I had any content talking about any of this, what did I do? Pretend it didn't get under my skin. You can't tell me that speaking about it does worse when not talking about it didn't do anything at all. It just kept things staying still. At least now we can congregate around the idea of, yes, this is difficult. Yes, this is insane on their part, but at least, we can have this discussion. Telling people just. So, again, I want the main point of this stream to be the idea that even if one comes up to you and approaches you, it's still possibly a setup slash disingenuous slash some other alternative. No one said anything about mope around. If you have a grievance with an issue, you discuss it and then you try to work towards something that alleviates it. Again, these various attempts at making sense out of things that are from the past, I appreciate, but you're doing it in a way that reinforces cliches that just I don't think are applicable anymore. We tried the narrative of, oh, let's pretend it didn't bother us. That didn't work. We're going to try discussing it so that people who are in this stream don't have to have it happen to them. People who are in this stream don't get a message from some female and get so excited they think, oh, it's finally over, and then 3 to 4 weeks later find out that she was just playing or trolling or didn't that reverse course. So that's my stance on this. Okay, Anthony says it's really sad. It takes two. Yeah, but here's the thing: I can't play these characters in terms of an actual. I'm supposed to just act the way I usually do when not around them, and then just switch to this character of, the jerk. And according to some, I already am. So it goes both ways. I like how there's almost this, and this is what kind of confuses me. People will say act in a mean or messed up manner, but if you already are seen as acting in that manner by someone or a different person, then they will tell you that you're needing to change who you are while you are in the eyes of that person already that thing which they then say bothers you. I've had females in the past say you're too mean or something of that effect. So I don't think that how you see me is the same way that someone else does. Okay, well, Corwin, you can tell me the proper balance of jerkiness to exert. Because I really am at a loss for words. I'm sitting here watching as this person who was very seemingly deceitful. And, if they don't know who they are in seeing this, as they claim they've been, into my stuff, I'll be very astonished. Because at that point, they're purposely trying to act as if they're not who they are. They're literally sitting in that stream right now, commenting and posting and talking after having pretended to me that they just weren't available. So I'm disgusted by it. But I guess, the one good thing coming out of this FCC ban on net neutrality is I won't have to deal with it for much longer. So that's still one relief. I don't know, Fillmore, do you find me boring? I mean, if you can sit on there with me for hours and hours like some of them have, would you really you just really think about that? Do you sit on the phone with someone for hours if you find them boring? It's not a school assignment. It's not you're not being held hostage here. Yeah, Harvey. After that goes away, they won't find these advertisements boring. They won't find their favorite websites going boring. So, and not loading boring. Again, I have Fillmore. I have several. I don't know what these questions are geared toward. I have several videos in which I feel I've showed, I guess, comedic effect or something to that effect. Oh, let's see where this person is. Well, I don't know if he can demonstrated, but this person claimed to have liked the way I was, and apparently the way I was also is what turned them off. So, and I don't know how to pronounce your name anymore, AOU, if that's how to state it. I'm grossed out. People don't seem to understand why I'm grossed out. I just am, because this person told me they were into me and then just did their 180. Now you should kind of and disconnect. Again, we can keep trying to figure out the diagnosis for this. All I'm saying is I really don't want, and this is something people don't seem to understand about part of my motive behind being as transparent with this. You have to not repeat what happened here. And signs of it admittedly will be in front of you and you'll ignore it. Oh, she hasn't responded to me in a couple of days because, she's busy. Oh, she hasn't responded to me in a couple of days because she is, she's her computer got eaten by a werewolf, and water poured down and destroyed all of her electricity, so she has no way of contacting me. She didn't contact me because, well, werewolves broke in her house and ate up all the electricity and the wires and the plugs and the cords. You make those excuses in your head because you want that to be true. You want this person to have not been what you speculated she was. Someone who came to you with intent of seemingly wanting to do something together only to flip around and be just like everybody else.